So it's been more than a year since I played Genshin Impact, a game known for its combative, cultured community and women. We have come to a point in time where we are now asked by multi-million-dollar questions such as, how does this game impact the aspects of one's life after countless days of pain and agony? And will you invite more people to suffer with it? Have you become more of a degenerate than was before? Are they gay or European? Allow me to answer all of those in the best way I can as I go along to tell you my recollections, my long-time journey in playing this interesting game. Surprisingly, until now, I don't consider myself as a Genshin expert, but let me tell you, I have known, witnessed, and experienced many things. From its vast, expanding world to explore, amazing combat, epic story, wholesome events, casual things to do such as low-key deforestation, fishing, housing, killing birds, and of course, controversies. I dedicate this video to those who are new to the game and those who plan to enter the rabbit hole. You will make me as one living evidence of how Made in China Impact affects one's sanity as a human being. And to those veteran chads, don't worry, we will also share the painful moments of late game activities. Now they say 9 out of 10 people play this game for all the beauties and badonkas, and not for the story. Most baboons are skipping dialogues faster than people thirsting for Ganyu images. That's fine, some of us are quite busy these days. It's illegal for me to skip any of these because I play for the lore, also for the melons. Although, hypocritically, I don't quite understand most of it. So let's talk about a minuscule percent of that. Then move on, otherwise this video might turn out to be as boring as you. So to make the main story short, you start the game with you and your sibling getting abducted by the unknown god, the sustainer of heavenly principles, sorry, wrong game. After you both blacked out for as long as the geo-loading screen, you woke up in a world called Teyvat, and it's up to you to find your missing sister along with the help of a fairy-type Pokemon, and by asking favors to the archons of different nations, where the gods are either lazy, poor, or hot. Also, there's who is actually more of a help than these dignified fuckers. Along the way, you'll be faced with various trials and obstacles, not just because of strong enemies or by doing mind-shattering puzzles, but because of distractions caused by all the cute women you encounter. And I don't see anything wrong with that. That's basically it. But if you lore enjoyers think that this is not accurate enough, you are absolutely right. Then again, I'm not going to continue in correct details of all that shit, so let's proceed. Now, diving into some of the game's best strengths, the characters and their use in combat. You can switch up to 4 of them, creating infinite number of possibilities in team compositions. Except most of us use this guy, especially for showcasing beat damage. So how will you get one? Well, some are given for free, and as for the rest, get ready to experience hell in its gacha system, where you'll be caught simping at a 5-star character Fox wife and end up getting a fucking zombie child. When you get a duplicate of a character, they will be consumed and grant them such bonuses. They also have their own weapons and elemental types called visions, granted by the gods themselves. Even children got one for some reason, and can be used to interact to other elements in your environment. What happens if you throw rocks at an enemy made of rocks? How to make ice statues? What if you have an electric field spinning around you while you're walking in a riverside? Well, the answer might shock you. Literally, each have their own names of interactions and damage multipliers. But we're not here to do chemistry or solve mathematics, Timmy. Now, as much as a degenerate I have become, my favorite character is named Child, also goes by many names. Gameplay-wise, he's fun and lore-related even better. As a child enthusiast, it pains me to know that the wide majority of the player base hate this character because of peculiar reasons, or they just suck. I don't even have a right to say that, knowing mine's Constellation Zero, and I admit he's a pain in the ass to play. But through months of playing the game, I have now transcended and became a hardcore masochist. In my instance, when using his elemental skill, he turned into a freaking psychopath and slashed enemies with random bullshit to satisfy my killing urges. But if you don't know when to stop, well, good luck. There are also characters that deserves a mention that tingles my jingles. Like how when I use a character that makes me more motivated. Exposed hips, JoJo references, D-Look Giovanna, and many more. With that out of the way, we can now parade, climb, and try to look hard at their insides as we now move on to the next best part. Journeying the world of Teyvat, we have the land of the free, where weed and kids using massive explosions in public were legalized. Next is China, where everything is negotiable, also overtime. Lastly, we have Inazuma 11, the best and worst, where world quests ranging from sad to depression, full of the worst enemies to ever exist in the game. For now, we are only introduced to 3 different nations. We might get another one soon before this guy can go home to his family. We also have other places that are worth noting, such as Dragon Spy, where this event adds up to its very amorphous state. I spent 2 weeks looking for clues on where to find the last tablet to open this door without the guide from the media. That's for and yes, that long is not even enough for a simpleton like me to figure out that the only thing I need to do is to give Cecilius to this great to get a 4-star sword that I didn't use ever since. Also, we have an underground city, and I guess Hu Tao doesn't like it very much. Getting back on track, as you venture through the game, it's up to you to discover treasures, get books for one to read nursery rhymes to level up to overcome a wide variety of species, from slimes, peacefully sleeping hilichurls to these sons of bitches. I personally hate these flying wolves. Don't let them touch you or you might get the virus. By defeating them, a variety of drops can be used to enhance your weapon, ascend your characters, as well as increase their talent fees. Some of these include world bosses, where after you commit genocide to gigantic plants or Rubik's Cubes, you will still need to collect flowers or insignias from the bodies you murdered. Next, we have the weekly bosses, which at this point, fighting them doesn't surprise me anymore. Introducing the pushover, a father figure, Ed Sheeran, Dwayne The Rock Chungus, the Tornado Girl, that's bullshit, and the Raiden Shogun. I am somehow mesmerized by the new boss design that my Virgil hormones are acting up, preferring not to dodge any of her attacks. Don't worry, I can take it. Now, it's either I can beat them all up the quickest way possible by using Shao and plunge all the way enough to give me a seizure, or I can just have fun dodging all of them by spinning circles. Lastly, we have different kinds of domains, where you'll be tossed to a fighting gauntlet in exchange for weapon materials, or getting artifacts, which is quite a struggle. Now, you might notice these moves as you check your map. Doing nothing to them is considered the highest form of crime. You use these to get rewards from the things I mentioned earlier, and if you ran out, well, you use big moves and squeeze them to have smaller moves and keep playing, or you could just wait for it to recharge, or I don't know, touch some grass. Wonder what that feels like. Say at this point, a month or 2 has passed since you played the game. Non-stop 26 hours per day. You have now explored the whole map, solved all world quests, hidden treasures, dated Noelle twice, and completed all stories you can. People are now complaining about how there's nothing else to play. Then congratulations, you are now in the late game zone. And the first thing that comes in mind are the artifacts, which can be a bit tedious if you're a type that wants to exploit characters' kits and capabilities and get called out by showcasing your damage in the media for using these 3. Then this is one crucial step. Some characters can greatly benefit from a specific set. So how do you examine that? Well, it's very simple. You read or ask someone to translate it in Razor language. The pain of getting a new one is actually tolerable. However, upgrading them is a different story. Do you want that perfect crit damage roll for your DPS? Same. Luckily, I got amazing crit rates, but my D-Look still doesn't crit. It would be much better spending your moons to other resources, then subconsciously end up in Wuhan Hill farming Crimson Witch of Flames. I mean, you still got moons to squeeze with, right? But if what I said doesn't interest you, or it's making your burnout problems worse, well, there's actually tons of things you can do aside from that. Send characters to expeditions with a bow user to mine ores, kill Timmy's pigeons, do commissions if you have financial instability. Then after months of daily chores, you can now wish for the character of your dreams, which, may I remind you, have a very low to low chance of getting when it's not featured. Better sit down and miserably wait for Ganyude. I'm not going to dive full length on this crap, for I had suffered enough, nor even talk about how the weapon banner is a fucking scam. They could just give me a different standard 5-star character, but they made me geneless. Truthfully, this is the first time I played a gacha game, and having nothing to spend, I just have to man up and overdose myself to Nakiryu to cope with that. Well, what else? Be a master chef, do events, catch a Pokemon, ride a Mantine. Oh, you You can't? That's just dumb. Kill Timmy's pigeons. Did I mention that before? Well, how about following me on Twitter? Also, with the recent events past where you can play Mario Maker or be a bartender, I guess there's nothing wrong in hoping for a strip club event soon. Do fishing, never in any sense that I may be motivated in catching a fish for a long and painful 7 days because of this weapon, which as a free-to-play is considered viable to most pole dancers. Basically, to get this, you need these fishes, and this one in particular can be found in But wait, isn't that permanent in the game? Why not take your time? Or can't you just go to another player's world and ask for fishes?
There's even co-op in this game, wow!
Anyway, after an excruciating pain of building up my confidence, I maxed it out and never went fishing again. Well, the co-op system can actually be quite an experience. You just have to be creative with it. Like entering to a complete stranger's world, telling them to like and subscribe, ring the bell. But if the thought of all that makes you anxious to even ask or steal flowers, or you know, the fish. Introducing the Serenity Pot. If the selection of worlds in the Hangout quest are not diverse enough, you can simulate yourself talking to your own and desired waifus in first person and die single. Oh, I can't wait to do this with Ganyu. Here's how to do it. Step 1. Have Ganyu decorate your own world by crafting furnitures using trees, plant flowers, abuse the dog, create a beautiful scenery, and use the available instruments in the game to play Rickroll, I guess. With all being said, if the latter doesn't fit in your taste or ease your incurable misery, then it's better for you to just quit the game. Or you can just go back to farming artifacts and make your character stronger, because after weeks of enduring Elder lore, it's probably time to test yourself to the real endgame.
Can I see I'm legally blind?
Welcome to Hell, where you'll be tested by your iPhone skills and patience. Only the true hardcore chads will conquer the trials of the depths. You'll be faced with all sorts of enemies, and as long as you make use of all the things you've had and learned after wasting countless hours watching YouTube how to Dragon Strike, have the favor of the true gods, and the power of friendship and waifus, you'll be able to perfect and overcome all of them. My experience in the Abyss is an absolutely stress that slowly decimates the last of my brain cells. Since version 1.3, I'm in pursuit of perfecting my poor craft and finally completed the Abyss for the first time after 10 months in exchange of my already degraded mind and soul and 150 premiums. Not even enough to wish for one debate club. Is it mandatory? No, but it is already instilled to me as a sense of challenge. Also, to abuse the free-to-play Dignity card is already a norm, which is a great sign that I need help. Now, if you're looking for advices on how to use your characters efficiently, you can always talk to the community, which I tell you might make things worse. Where if you scroll through the feed as you normally breathe, suddenly people will attack you, arguing Ganyu is the best DPS, how Ember Sims tell you that she's a viable character, or who has the biggest fate to move the biggest mountains. Wait, that's kinda interesting. The player base can be competitively toxic at times. However, we can be wholesome and united when the world wishes it. Truly, it has come a long way, and I salute those people who experienced the game from its humble beginnings and still playing to this present day. Did this game at some point affect my cognitive thinking?
Yes.
Would I recover from it? Not likely. Would I recommend it? Yes, absolutely. Not. If there's one thing I can say after playing this game for so long, after all its ups and downs and the ongoing crisis we have, whether it's because of the dopamine rushes it offers or by being immersed into its well-written story, this game indeed saved me. I don't play a huge variety of games, and I know there's a lot better ones out there, but I'd say this one will remain special for the rest of my entire life.